One of the biggest things that people consider when upgrading to a newer version of a device is the power that it packs. You know, especially when I get a new device, I'm very interested to see how it performs in terms of raw power against its predecessor that it's trying to replace. And in this case, we have the Samsung Galaxy S5 and the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge. Now, the S6 Edge is obviously the newer competitor on the market, and I just wanted to do a couple of benchmarks to see where it stands in terms of performance. So let's get this started. Now, I will say I am going to be using 3 standard apps that pretty much are well known in the Android realm for benchmarking utilities. The first is a 3D Mark. It is a GPU specific benchmark. The second is Antutu benchmark, which is an overall benchmark for performance. And the third is Geekbench 3, which is a CPU-oriented benchmark. So without further ado, I'm going to start these off. I'm going to see if I can start them at the same time. Just, right off the bat, you could tell the S6 did load faster. So here we go. As you can see, the final score of the S6 is 21,889. The S5 just finishing up. And there we have it. As you can see, that is a huge difference in performance. As you saw, the frames were there, but actually, from a performance standpoint, the S6 does significantly better. I always have a problem saying significantly for some reason. Anyways, this concludes our first benchmark. Moving on to the next one. So our second benchmark will be the Antutu benchmark. So here we go. And just to keep this fair, I'm going to keep the S6 in 32-bit mode. And then I will do a separate 64-bit test just to see the difference. So here we go. So there we have it, guys. The Samsung Galaxy S5 came out with a score of 35,489, whereas the Galaxy S6 Edge came out with 61,555. Wow. Now, there's a lot of things to explain why this difference exists, and I'll be going on over that later at the end of the video. For now, let's move on to our final test, Geekbench 3. So as you can see, here is all the information of the OS and hardware that these things are running. So without further ado, let's do this. So there we have it, guys. The Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge is essentially twice as good as the Samsung Galaxy S5 as far as performance goes. And this is quite clear based off of, the scores alone. The single core, it's pretty much double. The multi-core, it's also pretty much double. So take it at face value, the S6 Edge definitely just slays the Galaxy the Galaxy S5 in terms of performance. So it's definitely a worthy powerhouse upgrade. So I do realize that benchmarks are very controversial, that, there's a lot of circumstances that surround what typical score you get, but I just believe that it's interesting to see the numbers because they represent what the device can be capable of in a certain situation. And in this case, I definitely like how it's going. So that's it for this video, guys. Just wanted to show you guys a quick benchmark comparison of the Galaxy S6 versus the Galaxy S5. I'm Mr. Patel. I'm off.